qualify for the Iron Painter by painting in 30 minutes a single 30mm base model with a limited selection of paints. These three men behind me were the ones who made the cut and are now set to face our Iron Painter himself or herself, because they don't know which of our P3 Studio folks are going to walk up on that stage and challenge them for the coveted title. This year we're doing things a little different. In addition to doing the Iron Painter Challenge, where our three contestants will have to paint a model in 40 minutes that they don't know what it is with a limited selection of paint, we also are going to be interacting with our fabulous audience out here today in several exciting ways. First of all, each of our painters, as I talked about in my insider blog, has a valued member of our audience that has selected them as a champion. That audience member has the chance to exempt them from one of our terrible but awesome challenges during this competition. When they do so, that exemption is gone, but their painter has a critical advantage to not have to do whatever terrible and fun and funny things we have in store for them. In addition, if their painter manages to win the Iron Painter competition, they will walk away with a fabulous grand prize of one of each of every model of the conversions we have currently in our store right now. So there's a whole lot at stake for them. Guys, don't mess it up because they look pretty angry and they have a lot of friends. So just be careful. Know what you're playing for. Beyond that, though, I'm going to be polling different members of the audience and asking them some pretty fun questions. Now, not only if you answer that question correctly will you get a fantastic prize, whether from our treasure box of woe and reward, or something else that's pulled out by our fantastic baby bird, Michael Plummer.
That extra 10 minutes actually.
You will also be deciding the fate of our Iron Painters, because each prize pulled from the treasure box of woe and reward has one of the challenges that we're going to set against our painters. The better your prize, the worse it is for them. So let's go ahead and introduce our Iron Painter contestants. We have Tyson Couch. Coach. You know, we went over that like 3 times. You knew I was going to mess it up. Parker Gibson. And for the 3rd year in a row to qualify, amazingly enough, Nathan Boza. So these are our brave 3 contestants who qualified. Now, who do you think is going to be the Iron Painter that they will be competing against? Will it be Matthew DiPietro, Meg Maples, who competed last year, or Ron Kruzie, our studio director? It'll be Ron Kruzie, folks! Now, the model, the secret ingredient of this year's Iron Painter, is none other than Axis, the harmonic enforcer. Michael, will you please deliver the models to our contestants?
Thank you.
So the Iron Painter is not just a test of skill and of fortitude and of iron nerves. It is also a test of working with a limited color palette, which was chosen specifically by our studio painting team. These colors are different and interesting, and they make everything a challenge, and that's a lot of fun. So go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and ask our painters. They've had a chance to set up their paints, to look at the model. What do you think, Tyson, about the paint choices in front of you?
Purple and green, really?
Yes, purple and green, Willie. Axis likes to dress up. Pretty as a peacock, as Sherry Yuri, our president, likes to say. So, I'm going to ask for some time on the clock. I am pretty as a peacock, thank you very much. I would wear purple and green all the time, especially if I had hammers for hands. I don't know how I dress myself, but I would make it happen. All right, Ron Kruzie, you neglected, because you didn't know you were going to walk up there, to prepare your painter's station. So, bad management suffers for it.
That's okay. I've already called my mom and told her I won.
Wow. All right. Well, now I'd like to remind everybody that if Ron Kruzie does win the Iron Painter competition, not only does he win bragging rights over these 3 poor individuals, he also denies everybody a fantastic prize. So, a meanie at the office and a meanie here. All right. My fabulous judges have put 40 minutes on the clock. We are going to go ahead and get started right now. So, folks, pick up your painting brushes and get to painting. So, let's go ahead and kick things off by polling our first member of the audience. We'll go ahead and say fabulous man in orange right here. So, for the first prize, my question is, what was the first Iron Kingdoms role-playing game product released by Privateer Press? Ask One of Them is not the correct answer, I'm afraid. The Witchfire trilogy, specifically The Longest Night, is the correct answer. So, I'm sorry we do not have an Iron Painter home game for you to take home today, but thanks for playing. All right, let's go ahead and check in with our painters here. Ron Kruzie, you have a lot of advantages going into this thing. Go ahead and tell me exactly what your plan is to approach this model.
I really don't know yet.
When was the last time you actually painted a model?
About 3 or 4 hours ago.
What model was it?
It was a barrel, a really expensive barrel.
I watched that.
It was a mahogany barrel.
A mahogany barrel, all right. Well, that certainly sounds like it would be good practice to paint a steel soldier of the, Convergence of Cirrus. So good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Nathan, you've been here for 3 years now. We've thrown Epic Alexi at you. We threw Vlad 3 at you last year. This year we throw Axis the Harmonic Enforcer at you with a strange palette of colors including blue, green, brown, yellow, everything but silver it looks like. What exactly is your approach to this model this year?
Well, since I played Crix, I think I'm going to paint it like a Crix-colored Cyrus, and I have Crixbane base, so I think I'll be okay.
All right, so we're approaching it as a Crix-based color. That sounds like it'll be an interesting, if not maybe the best choice in terms of convergence, but you never know. We have a fantastic panel of judges. Some of them do enjoy Crix, so it may be the way to go. Moving on to Parker. Parker, go ahead and tell me, this is your first Iron Painter. What do you think of the experience so far?
Oh, it's a blast. What's the point? Do it for the fun.
And the fabulous prizes, right?
Bonus.
We get prizes?
Well, only if you win. Otherwise, you get shame and ridicule. Live stream to the entire world.
Usual.
Just like usual, that's right. We want to make everything really authentic here. Now, these guys have been going for a little bit. It seems to me like it's probably about time to throw a little wrench in the works. So let's go ahead and do our first question for a fabulous treasure box of woe and reward. I'm going to go ahead and pick the man in the privateer shirt in the beige, right? Yep, you. Go ahead and stand up.
Yep.
So, the question is, which Circle Warlock broke the Tharn infertility curse placed upon them following the Border Wars? Was it Morvana the Autumn Blade, Kruger the Stormlord, or Kaya the Wildborn? Morvana the Autumn Blade is correct, sir. Congratulations. So, I'm going to have you come on up and pick a box out, hand it over to me, and we're going to figure out what our first challenge is and what our first reward is. All right, let's see if you made the proper choice. They're all going to be light. Don't worry about that too much. All right, I'm going to have you reach in here, pull out that letter, and tell me what you see.
Challenge Eyeless Sight. Paint your model with your eyes closed.
Oh! So, for the next 5 minutes, nah, that's really mean. For the next 3 minutes, you guys are going to have to paint with your eyes completely closed unless your audience members decide to give you the exemption. In addition, because you picked box number 3, come with me and we're going to show off your fabulous prize. The Archangel. It's so hard to find good health these days. So, we have the Archangel Gargantuan, and you'll also be walking home with the In Thunder Forge book from our publishing partners at Pyre. That is the first in the War Machine Chronicles, or the Iron Kingdoms Chronicles books. So congratulations. Enjoy. Thank you for helping us make everything harder for our contestants. So let me go over here. I'm going to talk to Ron first, because I like to get the opinion of our Iron Painter. So Ron, how are you going to approach painting with your eyes closed?
I'm not saying because I don't want these guys to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you after. I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I got to... now, no peeking, Ron. You really got to close your eyes. I feel like...
Oh, these guys, he didn't have his eyes closed.
Their eyes are closed like right now. Like, close your eyes, Ron. This is going on your review next. You can't follow directions here. Come on. All right, so, feeling it out with this thing. All right, so we've got a call. Go ahead and shout out your contestant's name. Tyson.
He did a while
All right,
ago,
so
yeah.
Tyson has been removed from being from having to close his eyes. We have Parker too. So both Parker and Tyson have been pulled from this this terrifying eyeless sight challenge. That's probably going to give them a pretty solid advantage in this fight, but there's still plenty more to go. So, Nathan, I noticed that you unfortunately are painting with your eyes closed like our studio director, Ron Kruzie. What exactly is your approach when, bereft of sight? Do you feel that it enhances your overall experience? Are you painting the model through touch, through smell, anything like that?
Zen?
So Zen, painting the model through Zen. I think that that's actually the approach that Matt DiPietro takes a lot of times. I walk into the office, I see calming music, scented candles, incense, those kinds of things. So Zen is certainly a way to do it. Meg Maples typically prefers like sounds of chainsaws screaming loud noises. All right, so our contestants are going really great. I think it's time for another question to our audience. This time we're going to be playing for a fantastic prize that is not a treasure box. I'm going to be asking the man with the do-rag.
Do we still have to have our eyes closed? Okay.
To whom does the moniker Maiden of Gears refer? Cirrus is correct. And for that correct answer, you're going to win a fabulous prize pack passed over by our fantastic event coordinator, Michael Plummer. That is filled with some great Privateer Press swag, including dice, a koozie, and tokens. So good work on Maiden of Gears. So let's go ahead and check in with our contestants that did not have to close their eyes for this challenge as we approach the halfway point here. So given this crucial advantage, what exactly... Oh, it's 3 minutes, so Nathan can open his eyes, Ron as well. Given that advantage, do you think that you now have an edge in the competition based on the other two competitors?
Yes, I actually have detail on my model.
What kind of detail do you have there, sir?
Not blurry.
Not blurry. I don't know if closing your eyes necessarily makes you see things blurry or paint blurry, but that's, it's an appropriate step. Tyson, you have progressed quite well on your model here. You've got some reds, some greens, some bronzes. What exactly is your next step?
Probably start adding glows, and I would say the advantage I got out of not having to do that challenge is it doesn't look like I finger painted my model.
Wow, you can't even see the other contestants' model, and you're still ripping on them as finger paints. That's the kind of spirit we want to see around here. So with that in mind, because we have a lot of confidence coming from our two contestants that now have no more exemptions, I think it's probably time to do another treasure box of reward, and whoa. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot way to the back, man in the corner, bald head, white shirt. Go ahead and stand up. What was the name of the group of Trollkin, Ogre, Gobbers, and humans that worshipped the Devourer Worm prior to their defeat by Priest King Golavant at the Shield of Thrace? The Mulgar is correct. Come on up and pick a box out for me. Mulgar, also the name of the language that's now spoken by several races of the Iron Kingdoms. Go ahead and open that up. Read what it says for us.
Paint your model while walking around the table.
This challenge is known as the Wanderer. I will note that at this point, any and all paints are viable as you wander around the table. Please watch out for the cohorts. Also, if you want to go ahead and use any water cup as well, just be careful. Don't sit down. I wouldn't suggest drinking the water cups after this challenge. So go ahead and start walking. We're going to go ahead and do this for about 4 minutes, I'm told, by our fabulous coordinator. So keep walking and go. Now, the number on that was number 5, and that means that you have walked away with a copy of the Level 7 expansion, Lockdown. And, of course, another copy of In Thunder Forged by our fabulous folks at Pyre. So thank you very much. Congratulations. Thanks for visiting the same kind of fear that Lockdown will visit on all of your friends with Level 7. So everything's walking around. We've got cameramen in the way. We've got other people in the way. Ron Kruzie, you're typically a man on the move. So how does this factor into you? You need to walk, sir.
Oh, thank you. This is not a problem.
No?
Nah. I do this all the time.
All the time. All right. Well, that sounds good. So when was the last time you took an ambulatory painting excursion?
Right now, I would say, but looking by my
Yeah, we have a little bit of a stain there on your pants. We have the first mistake here. That's all right, though. We don't cover any dry cleaning expenses. You signed that up when you took your badge. There's a whole liability clause. If you fall off that stage, by the way, we're not liable for that either. So go ahead, feel free to be as dangerous as you want up there. I didn't actually say that. So our folks are walking around. We've got Nathan over here. Nathan, this is a familiar challenge, I think, to you. We actually did this last year at the challenge. So have you been practicing your painting while walking in preparation for this event?
Somewhat. I've had another kid since then, so that's helped out quite a bit.
So you paint while you chase after your child. Did you ever think that maybe your child wouldn't run away from you if you weren't painting? If you maybe paid more attention to your child? Those kinds of things.
My wife's right there.
So she watches your child then while you paint. Is that the correct answer? That's very nice of you. You're a wonderful woman. And you have a fantastic husband who can paint well under pressure. So our folks are still walking around. I think it's time to go to another question, not for a treasure box this time. Our next question is actually about the recent 6 launch of Skull Island Expeditions. I'm going to go ahead and ask the man in the crick shirt right there. Do you want to stand up for me? Author Larry Correia wrote about which future Scorn arch-domina in his novella Instruments of War? Makeda is correct. So you also win a fantastic prize pack filled with a koozie, dice, tokens, and a fantastic dog tag for wearing on dates, clubbing, any kind of excursion where fantastic attire is required. Going on, how much time do we have left, sir, in our ambulatory painting challenge? Michael Plummer, how much time do we have left on the clock? 1 minute. You have 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, for our painters to continue to walk. Ron Kruzie, what do you think about this? Is this a new style of painting that you'll be implementing in the studio? The kind of zen-like walking, well painting? Do you feel you're getting good detail out of this?
No, I'm not. It's kind of hard.
It's kind of hard. All right, well, that's fair. You know, we endeavor to make it hard for you. I think overall, one of the things I'd like you to see while you're walking is, isn't two-brush blending kind of a given when you work in the studio? Working with 2 brushes at the same time, isn't that how we paint all of our models?
Yes.
Okay, so I noticed right now that you only have 1 brush. And I'm wondering, you know, is that acceptable?
It's twice as fast with 1 brush, right?
I think it's actually the opposite. And I'm not really sure that Matt Wilson right now appreciates the fact that you're not using proper studio painting techniques. So I'm going to have to ask you to pick up a second brush and 2-brush blend well walking so that you can show the proper techniques. Thank you very much. All right, 4 minutes, Ron Kruzie. You're lucky. Everyone can sit back down at their tables. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and check in with these guys and see exactly how they feel they did after taking their little walking excursion. So, Tyson, tell me, how do you feel after that? You didn't have to close your eyes. You did have to wander around the table, grab paints where you could. Did that change your strategy at all in terms of your color composition?
Not really, because I was at a good place to at least walk around, but I think one of our painters had an accident with his paints while we were walking around, though.
So we had an accident with our paints while we were walking around. Not so great. Parker, you also didn't have to close your eyes. What do you think about your current progress in terms of that, having to wander around and get paints? What was your strategy in terms of finding the paints that you wanted, the correct ones?
Just stick with one color and try to work with it and hope.
You know, hope is a hallmark of the Iron Painter event for sure. There's no question about that at all. Let's go ahead and check in on the amount of time that these painters have left to finish their access. What do we have left, Michael? 26 minutes and 26 seconds, a fortuitous number for sure. We're going to go ahead and ask another question to the audience. This one is about one of the star of our new Masterworks line, Victoria Haley. And so I'm going to go ahead and ask the man in the hat right there. Yeah, go ahead and stand up. So my question for you, sir, is what is the name of Victoria Haley's birthplace? Caspia is unfortunately incorrect. It is actually Ingrain. Ingrain is the birthplace of Victoria Haley and her twin sister, who happens to now be known as Wraithwitch de Negra. Ingrain, not a popular place ever since Scar showed up and kind of trashed it with her Bane Thrall entourage. It's a little haunted now. People like to stay away from it. It's not on the tourist spots unless you happen to like ghost hunting. So, Mr. Boza, how are you feeling right now? Your audience member has yet to use their exemption card. Do you feel that maybe... Oh, it's a dropped model. Oh, all right, well, we'll get somebody to repair that for you right quick. But you have yet to You have yet to see a redemption card. I need to stop talking to you clearly because I am distracting you more so than any of our challenges possibly could. How do you feel right now about, do you think that there's worse coming? Do you think that the card should have been used for Eyeless Sight? What are you thinking right now?
Oh, I know there's worse coming.
He knows there's worse coming. That's probably fair. We do like to really press our iron painters. They don't call it the iron painting challenges for nothing. Let's go ahead and check in with Ron Kruzie. Ron, I notice you're painting the base right now. You're really working the base. Do you think that's the right strategy at this point? I mean, your model's looking a little rough. It's not quite two brush blending. I notice the brush isn't in your mouth. You also happen to have, not a whole lot of detailing going on. It looks like you're just kind of lining the thing. Would you like to kind of explain your strategy here? Like, why the green base? Why the underperformance? Would you accept this from one of your workers?
No.
So you do realize that one of our judges is actually Matthew D. Wilson tonight. Do you not?
I didn't know that.
So do you maybe feel like you need to go back and try a different approach here? Or are you going to stick with what you know?
I'm going to paint some flowers on the base here.
Flowers on the base, certainly an interesting choice, a brave choice, a bold choice. Freehanding design may be the thing to save you from right now what I would call an absolute train wreck of a studio model. But, to each their own, and it's Kruzie. Kruzie has always shown great poise under pressure. With that in mind, let's go ahead and ask our audience another question, this time for another treasure box of reward and more to get these guys amped up for a new challenge. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the man in the blue with the beard in the back. Go ahead and stand up for me. So, in the Skull Island Expedition novella, Way of Cain, what is the name of Alistair Cain's hunter? It is Ace, sir. Ace. All right. Well, with that unfortunate performance from our fantastic audience member, we're going to go ahead and ask another... no, we're not going to ask another question. Jason Martin, would you come up here, please? Come on up. This is our Director of Operations. I need Jason Martin to come up here. Now, Jason, it's a well-known fact that oftentimes delays, problems, things like that are made up for by your fantastic production department. And now, I believe it is only fair that you have a chance to earn some divine and just retribution to the folks who often cause you to pull your hair out at night. So I'm going to give you the chance to go ahead and come up with our next painting challenge.
Yeah, I think opposite hand is perfect.
All right, so now, ladies and gentlemen, our iron painters are going to paint with their off hand. So if you can please switch your brush to your non-dominant hand. We have 6 minutes left? Okay, you're going to have to do this for 6 minutes, according to our convention manager, Michael Plummer. So, Mr. Boza, this is another... Now, please don't throw your models down as I try to talk to you. It's just part of the job. I'm not trying to anger you in any way. But, this is another classic challenge of the Iron Painter. Have you been practicing at all with your offhand?
No, not too bad. Not really. I mean...
Not painting.
Not... Dude, my wife's right over there.
I got nothing to say. That's it's a family show, Ron Kruzie. It's a family show. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our audience and ask another question while I try to recover from our studio manager's uncouth nature. It's clearly the man just came back from the forest where he skinned a bunch of animals and lived off nothing but his hatchet and skills. So let's go ahead and ask... Who I have? The man in the lock and load t-shirt way in the back who thinks that I probably won't ask him a question because he's not sitting down. Just because I like to keep you on your feet. What is Everblight's name in the Elven tongue? Ethereum Ball is correct. Good work, sir. Michael Plummer is going to deliver you another fantastic prize pack of Privateer Press swag. All right, let's go ahead and we are halfway. We are halfway. We have 20 minutes left in this competition. Our painters are doing exceptionally well. This is fantastic. So, Tyson, let's get an update on your progress. How are things going for you?
Shaky hand syndrome isn't treating me very well, and left-handed.
So, do you feel that the left-handed might have been a good time for the exemption card?
No, actually, I prefer not having to finger paint.
All right, so prefers not having to finger paint. It's understandable. It's understandable. Parker, this is probably a new experience for you. Have you ever actually painted with your offhand before?
Once, it's a hateful experience.
Now, could you explain the situation where you felt the need to paint with your offhand if you hated it so much?
When you got a model, you just can't, when the detail's in there and you can't do it right-handed, there's just no position, you got to do it left-handed. Yeah, I want to swear.
I've actually never found a position in my life through all the years of painting where I had to switch my hands, but I understand, like, sometimes people do different things, and that's the way to go. But unfortunately, like, the good news is, the benefit here is that you're going to have, like, 6 minutes of practice. So the next time you find yourself in that trick shot position, you're going to be able to handle it like a pro. So look on the bright side here. Left-handed practice is very great. So let's go ahead and go to our fantastic audience and ask another question. This time, for another great prize pack. And we're going to ask the man in the green kind of plaid action going on there. So, where did the Butcher of Kardov commit his infamous massacre? I got hands up in the air. All right, I'll go ahead and give this one to you. Boar's Gate is correct. Now, interestingly enough, if you want to know more about that, the Butcher, and kind of the personality and the drive behind him, a new novella is actually going to be released from Six in the next couple of months about the Butcher, written by Dan Wells, I believe. So that's going to be a very exciting time. We're looking forward to seeing that work released. So watch for that if you have any interest in madmen with giant axes named Lola. All right. Michael Plummer, how much time do we have left with our left hand? 1 minute and 30 seconds. So, Ron, tell me, you're a pretty talented guy. Do you typically go home and practice painting left-handed?
No.
And, you know, you knew that there was a potential that you were going to be sitting in this chair tonight that you might have to represent and, you know, succeed where your other two studio painters have failed. You know, did that not factor in at all when you were at home painting your models that maybe you should try left-handed or painting with your eyes closed?
I'm prepared to be unprepared.
You're prepared to be unprepared. That is an interesting motto for someone like you to have, but you know what? It fits very well, and I believe that you are prepared to be unprepared. So, with probably less than a minute left for our left hand, our studio painter, Ron Kruzie, is working very hard, keeping a fantastic model going on. We have a whole smorgasbord of different color choices, options. We have red hammers. We have what looks like green hammers. Some very interesting color choices. I'd like to take a moment and just talk a little bit. Oh, Ron Kruzie is checking something here. Ron, what are you looking at? You have that from arm's length?
Well, it always looks different from arm's length. You can kind of pick out the bad spots, you know.
I don't really need to look at it from arm's length to tell you that the whole probably a little bit of a bad spot.
The whole thing is kind of a problem.
That's because I didn't paint the back of it all.
That's fair, actually. Yeah, you can see that the back of it's not painted at all. You do know that models are in 3D, 360 rotations? Okay. So just painting kind of a display model here, hoping that the judges won't look at the back. Time is up, so you guys can go ahead and switch back to your regular hand. Everyone switched very quickly there. Pretty exciting stuff for everyone. So we're back to this. Parker, you're out of the thing that you hate the most. Do you feel like you have any time that you need to make up, anything at all that you need to take care of in terms of fixing things? You know, you've still got a decent amount of time left on the clock. What exactly is your strategy going forward as we wind down here?
As we wind down, trying to decide what to do next. You know, where do I go? You know, my plans are running out.
Plans are running out. Trying to figure out where to go next. You know, that's always a problem as you get closer. It's always the last 90, 80% of the model that takes the longest. So Tyson be reminded by his audience member who's hoping for him to be the champion that he got picked out to be, to paint the base. I'm not quite sure what we're looking for from the base here, but what do you think, Tyson? Like, how are you going to approach the base? Are you going to paint more fabulous flowers like Ron Kruzie? Or are you going to take a different approach?
Yeah, I might try to meet his fabulous flowers and beat him at it.
All right, so a direct challenge to Ron Kruzie for fabulous flowers. Let's check in and see how much time we have left for our painters here. 13 minutes and 30 seconds, and we still have 3 challenges left to go, so let's go ahead and ask another question for a treasure box of woe and reward. I'm going to ask you, sir, because you're right up front. You've been sitting here, so great. What year did Privateer Press celebrate its 10-year anniversary as a company? .2010 is not correct. All right, I'm gonna ask you. 2011 is correct. In 2011, the first year of Lock and Load, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary as a company. Go ahead and go up there and pick up a box. All right, open it up and let us see what challenge awaits our contestants in the Iron Painter.
Paint your model without using your hands.
Can we hold the model though with our hands?
You can hold the model, you just cannot paint the model with your hands. So toes are allowed, mouth, ear. Mr. Boza, you are exempt from this one, sir. I think that was the right hold on. And because you picked that specific box, we have for you a hardcover version of The Convergence of Cirrus Force book, as well as In Thunder Forged from the Iron Kingdoms Chronicles. There you are, sir. Thank you very much. I will take that from you. So, with less than 13 minutes left, painting without their hands for a total of... Mr. Plummer, how long do we have on this challenge? We have 3 minutes on this challenge. Ron, I noticed that you've got a very delicate technique there. You know, it's almost a lover's kind of touch. Tell me, how exactly do you approach this kind of action?
It's strange. I'm kind of a natural at this.
You do have some fantastic detailing going on with the yellow there on top of the tubing. You still have yet to paint the back of the model though, and I feel that Matt Wilson and I believe Ed Burrell, being the creative types that they are, and the sticklers for detail that they are, maybe docking you points for that. Are you concerned at all about not having the back of the model painted?
No, I'll just send him a picture of the front.
Now, I would like to point out, Ron, that in this instance they're actually here tonight. They're in person. They will be picking up the model and looking at it. You cannot just submit a picture this time.
I got nothing on that.
Okay, well, Ron probably going to have to rethink his Iron Painter strategy and scramble in addition to that to make sure that it happens. Tyson, you were exempt from the Eyeless Sight Challenge. You're now stuck painting with not your hands. Do you still feel like you're in a good place, or do you wish that maybe that exemption had been held?
No, it's just time to paint flowers.
Time to paint flowers. Painting flowers without hands. I mean, I think that beats Kruzie's flowers with hands. Depending on how they turn out, it's going to be interesting. So, you've fought through all of the challenges here, Nathan. You've dealt with no eyes. You've dealt with the eyeless sight. You've dealt with the walking. You've dealt with the left hand. You've dealt with almost the worst that we could throw at you. And then this challenge comes up. How do you feel? How do you feel now? Do you feel like you weren't left to dry, out to dry in the wind?
I think my fellow Canadian passed the right one to me here, so that's good. She's looking out for me. They're painting flowers. I'm painting the...
So, a pretty happy Nathan there, feeling very confident in what he's got, everything going on. Let's go ahead and ask another question for a Privateer Press swag bag. And we're going to go ahead and pull You, sir, right there. Before he became an Iron Lich in the service of Tutoruk, what other faction was Asphyxius a part of? Circle Orboros is correct. All right, Michael Plummer, how much time do we have left in this challenge? 7 seconds left in this challenge. We are very exact this year, thanks to our studious convention manager, Michael Plummer. Time is up. You may now stop painting with not your hands and go ahead and start painting with your hands. Ron Kruzie furiously painting. Ron, you still have yet to go to the back of the model. We've talked about how you can't submit a picture. Matt Wilson is here. He's judging you harshly tonight. This is his moment. You're representing the entire company.
I always finish it off in the back. Come on.
You know, my art teacher had the exact same saying when I was in high school. So, what?
Matt just scared the shit out of me. Good job. Good job.
Things are definitely happening here in the Iron Painter Arena. How much time do we have left for our contestants? 8 minutes and 50 seconds. We still have 2 boxes left to go. Let's go ahead and ask a question. This one is going to be a doozy of a question. So I'm going to ask for a show of hands. Which audience member is feeling very brave right now? I'm going to go with you, sir. All right. Now, I need you to listen very closely. This is perhaps the most challenging question I have for tonight. The Butcher of Kardov casts Fury on himself, pops his feet, and then charges a storm wall 11 inches away. The storm wall is under the effect of Commander Coleman Striker's feet, giving it +5 arm, and is affected by Arcane Shield as well, giving it a further +3 arm. If the Butcher hits with the charge attack and manages to roll all 6s on all 5 dice, and hits the storm wall on column 1 of his left, previously undamaged damage grid, how many systems will the Butcher cripple with this one attack? That is a trick question. The Butcher can't reach a charge target 11 inches away. It's a failed charge, and the answer is 0. For being such a good sport, though, come on up and pick a box. All right, go ahead and open it up, and let us see what our painters are going to have to endure in their last 8 minutes.
Southpaw swerve. Paint your model with your offhand.
So we go back to the offhand. So go ahead and switch back to your left hand, folks. You're going to have to do this for 3 more minutes. And for opening that box, we've got a fabulous prize for you. It is an Iron Kingdoms token set and, of course, in Thunder Forged. Go ahead and grab that for you. Thank you very much, sir. A request from Twitter.
We asked them what their challenge for the Iron Painters would be. Flamage says lights out.
Lights out for a challenge. They're already on left hand. Michael Plummer, would you go ahead and kill the lights for them, please? All right, Ron. Your light's gone. You're painting with your left hand again. You're on very thin ice here. I see you're finally painting the back of your model.
This is really cool.
What exactly is cool about it?
The offhand, lights out. I'm going to try this again at home.
I didn't mean that. I actually didn't mean that.
Hey, I was being serious.
I'm sure you were, Ron. I'm sure you were.
I actually kind of like the back more now.
Well, you know, it's always a nicer image when you actually don't have the lights on, Ron. Like that's That usually covers up the blemishes. So I would wait until that light comes on to really make a judge. Time is up. So folks, I need you to put your painting brushes. Oh, time is up. Time is up for the challenge. You need to be a little more specific with me, baby bird. So
How much time do we have?
light is back on. How are you feeling here?
I'm doing great. I have a feeling Ron's probably going to end up in jail, so he's going to be disqualified. And
Or homeless.
Well, we don't typically employ people who are currently serving sentences in jail, so you know that might be hand in hand. But Ron's a pretty valued member of Private Press. I think that we'll give him probably a 6th chance here, if he can clean up his act. And you know, depending on how he winds up dealing with the backside of Axis, the harmonic enforcer. So, we've had the lights off. We've had left hand. We've had painting without your hands. You started off without having to paint with your eyes closed. You've had to deal with the challenge that you hate the most, though, twice. How you feeling here, Parker?
Actually, the first time's practice with left made the second time easier. You were right.
Second time easier, so practice does make perfect here in the Iron Painter Arena. Tyson, you've been cruising along. You've got a lot of different colors on that model. He's looking pretty good. I've got to be honest. It might be enough to take you to the finals. So, what are you thinking here?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good about this, and actually the left-handed painting isn't bad because you just hold your brush and actually you just move the model.
That sounds great. He holds the brush and moves the model, painting with his right hand that way. 3 minutes left in our final championship round of the Iron Painter. With 3 minutes left, I think it's time that we give them their final challenge as well out of the Treasure Box of Woe. So, I'm going to need one fabulous audience member that feels like they can answer a question that's going to be incredibly hard. Let's go ahead and choose. My question to you is, where is Lock and Load 2013 being held? It does not have hot water that I know of. Red Line in Seattle is correct. Come on up and pick the last box. All right, so we've put our contestants through quite the ringer. We've challenged them with left-handed, lights off, no eyes, no hands. Go ahead and open it. Let's see what their final challenge is going to be as we run to the end of this competition.
Hit rock bottom. Paint your model while standing on one foot.
Paint your model while standing on one foot. Who could ask for a better final challenge? And you have won in Thunder Forged, an Iron Kingdoms token set, and a Privateer Press swag bag. Thank you very much, sir, for helping us out with that. So, standing on one leg, bounced up on one leg. He's even low. Let's go ahead and take a look. Yep, we're good. He's on one leg. That was pretty good. We've got a yoga master here in Tyson. Who would have known? Who would have thought that anybody could paint in such a great lotus pose? So, Nathan, what do you think here?
This one's not too bad. This is the 3rd time, so yeah, I'm used to this.
The 3rd time, that is true. This is a classic Iron Painter challenge. Ron, what do you have going? Oh.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please put your paintbrushes down, folks. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to our Iron Painters who performed such a great act for us tonight. All right. It is time to see what our Iron Painters have wrought and bring up our panel of judges. Studio painters Meg Maples, Matthew DiPietro, Matthew D. Wilson, and creative director Ed Burrell, would you come on up here and judge our contestants' final painted models?
Yeah, you can be trapped.
Ron, can you go cook me a steak one?
The best was the coffee last year.
I know. So I had actually asked Porter, I was like, can we have a little wheeled cart? That way I can put my coffee pot on it and have water for you. And have coffee and actually make the
So, Ron, you've got the judges. They're critiquing you. They're looking. Matthew D. Wilson right here. How do you feel right now? Do you feel confident?
I feel kind of shook up a little bit.
Well, I think that's what Wilson just showed you.
Now, Meg, you were in this position last year with Ron Kruzie actually helping choose the challenges.
Yeah.
This is now your chance to critique your boss. How do you feel?
I wish I had given him some more challenges like he gave me last year.
That's true. Ron did do some pretty serious challenges.
Yeah, pretty serious.
Matt, you're obviously, a huge painter for Private Press. You do so much of our amazing models. How do you feel about, your mentor Ron Kruzie's work right now?
It's piss poor, Ron. You're embarrassing all of us.
Harsh criticism from the student who now may be the master. It's difficult to say. So they continue on. Ed Burrell's taking his time, looking at everything, conferring with Matt. This is a typical sight around the office, either through email or when Matt is visiting us in the office live and in person. This is probably the most intimidating thing to ever have happen to anyone who is creative at all. These two powerhouses in the industry, looking at every detail, missing nothing. Being sure to check the back.
Because even if you take a little bit off the top, it's still red.
Talk for a few minutes.
See, and I was nice. I didn't take it away from you like you took
Wait, here, let's see. Put them in.
So Nathan talking to Ron a little bit about how last year Ron stole one of his paints, which, to be fair, was a cruel thing to do. But Nathan was the bigger man here and decided not to steal Ron's paint, despite the fact that Ron spilled one of his paints when they were walking around. So maybe that's worth bonus points here. I'm not quite sure. The judges are aware of that work, the battle damage as well. Yes, Nathan had a difficult time, a difficult challenge. But how do you feel right now?
You know what? This is my favorite part of lock and load. So I mean, win, lose, or draw. I hope I win.
He hopes he wins. I'm not.
She hopes I win.
She does hope She does hope that you are the champion for her, so that she can walk away with a fabulous prize. All right, I've been informed by our judges that we are ready to deliver a verdict and declare the 2013 Iron Painter champion.
First, we're going to take care of some business, which is we're disqualifying Ron Kruzie for peeking. Sherry caught it on video, and we cannot accept his entry in the contest. That was just one of his many violations this evening.
Ron, I'm going to have to ask you to step off the stage, head out that door, get in your car, and hang your head in shame, sir.
And don't come back.
I'm gonna miss your shiny bald pate, Ron. I'm gonna miss it. It was one of the bright spots in my day, literally. All right, so, Mr. Wilson, would you please announce the champion of our remaining Iron Painter contestants?
By unanimous decision, Mr. Tyson.
Tyson Couch, you are our winner, sir. And because you have succeeded in the Iron Painter arena, your fabulous audience member is walking away with a fantastic prize pack filled with Convergence goodies. One of everything that is in the store. Now, of course, our challengers put up an awesome spectacle. They entertained us all. They put up with all of the stuff we put them through. I think they deserve another round of applause. And we're not going to let them walk away empty-handed. They're going to get a fabulous Privateer Press swag bag, as well as our eternal thanks. But it's really for our champion that I think something special needs to be done. Something iconic for the fact that this was our first Iron Painter and combined trivia challenge. Our audience has been great. I feel like everyone should walk away a winner from this. And therefore, we would like to present to Tyson the very first ever Prime Axiom. Now, if you remember, I told you guys in the panel that we had one more surprise for you tonight, and that is that the Prime Axiom will be available in the store tomorrow morning through Sunday. So, everyone can walk away from Lock and Load with their own Prime Axiom if they'd like. The store is going to be opening at what time? 10 a.m. So be sure to be there if you want to take home the fantastic Convergence Colossal that Meg Maples has been painting all weekend. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. It's been a blast. I hope you all had fun. We will see you all next year for Iron Painter 2014. Thank you. The quantities? We have a lot. They'll be